Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back to do another review of AMC's The Walking Dead Season 8. This time it's all about Episode 6 entitled The King, the Widow, and Rick. Funny story, I almost forgot that I had to do a review, but I was literally sitting in the parking lot and it just popped in my head like, I gotta do a review of Walking Dead because I haven't done it. Like, I was literally gonna come straight home and go to sleep because I had to get up super duper early to go back to my hometown for a funeral. And I'm like dead tired, but I said, you know what, let me get this review done because you guys want to see it. You want to hear what I have to say about episode 6, so here we are. And I'm probably wearing a sweater that you've seen before, but I was like, listen, I gotta get up, gotta look nice, and this is my favorite sweater, so it is what it is. But anyways, let's get down to this review. Pretty much, if you don't already know, Carol is about to be to Ezekiel what Michonne was to Ezekiel in the comics. It's clear. It's crystal clear after watching this episode. Carol and Ezekiel are getting closer and closer and closer. And honestly, I'm all here for that. Hey, we got Rick and Michonne. We had Maggie and Glenn. We had Abe and Sasha. We had Aaron and Eric. It'd be cute for Carol to have one scene, I guess, of romance or getting close to somebody or something. A lot of people are just like, we don't need romance in Walking Dead, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, listen, there was some romance in the comics, so it's going to transfer to the TV show if they're truly following the comics, and it seems like they are, so it is what it is. And honestly, in the beginning, I was more of a Daryl and Carol shipper. Like, I wanted to see those two kind of, like, get closer and closer. That was back in, I think, season 3. But now seeing Ezekiel, I'm like, okay, well, she could be with him, either or, as long as Carol's getting some love, because Carol is my girl and she's awesome. Anyways, pretty much the people are returning back to Alexandria after the battle has kind of like plateaued, I guess that's what you call it. And we see Aaron returning to Hilltop and seeing Maggie, and I guess she put 2 and 2 together when Eric didn't pop out of the car as well, but the baby was a big surprise to her as it was to all of us. So the people of the kingdom are in mourning. We don't see Ezekiel because Ezekiel is somewhere just depressed, and he has every right to feel the way he feels, honestly. And the scene of him being depressed in the comic books was just as sad, just to let you. Also, in that scene, we basically get to hear what is said in the different letters sent by Rick and Maggie. As I said, Ezekiel's not writing anything because Ezekiel is still depressed, but still. I believe Carol was the one that wrote a letter and told everybody what happened at the kingdom and everything, or what happened to the Knights of the Kingdom. So, let's see. In Rick's letter, he says, listen, we're going to end this battle in 2 days at the sanctuary. So 2 days for us is like 2 episodes. So that's episode 7. And then the mid-season finale will be the time when Rick has the showdown along with everyone else with the saviors. So, now, Jesus and this idea to keep these saviors alive is so annoying. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but me, I'm just annoyed by this idea. Maggie is upset because he decided to feed the saviors some leftover turnips or something, and Maggie's like, dude, we need this food for our people. We gotta look after our own. Gregory is trying to reason with Maggie, basically still trying to tell her, you know what, you need to kill these saviors. That's a thought in Maggie's head, but the last person she wants to hear this from is Gregory, obviously, because Gregory is a snake in the grass. Jesus tries to rationalize his decision to keep the saviors alive, and in my opinion, it's still a reckless idea, and it's going to get somebody killed eventually, in my opinion, because I really believe Jareth, despite what happened to him in this episode, he's still going to do what he wants to do, and that is try to take over, try to take somebody's gun, somebody's knife, stab someone or something, or he might get himself killed. Ezekiel's depressed. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. Jerry remains at his post outside of the auditorium, despite the fact that Ezekiel told him, listen, you can go. You don't have to do this. I'm not king. Jerry's like, listen, I'm still going to do this. So Ben's brother, Henry, wants to help Carol, and I guess he wants to battle the saviors, but Carol's just like, no. And I'm laughing in my head because I'm like, every time a child gets close to Carol, that child ends up dying. And I hate to say it, but you can even add poor Sophia to that list as well. So Henry being here and Carol being here is a good thing, but them getting together, I'm worried about Henry, honestly. So the garbage people are pretty much shady. They've always been shady. I knew that Rick couldn't trust them, especially Jadis. And despite the fact that he tells them, listen, we kicked the Savior's butt this round, we really messed them up, Jadis is just like, I don't care, put him in the container. Gregory's still talking junk. And Maggie is over him. He's a sellout. He claims that his motives were pure, meaning going to the saviors and basically selling out the hilltop to get in Negan's good graces, whatever would have you. But really, he's trying to play devil's advocate. He wants to be Maggie's second in command, probably so he could either try to kill her or try to tell Negan, well, you know, I still wasn't a part of these plans, despite the fact that the saviors can't stand him at this point. But still, that's Gregory for you. So Gregory said that Maggie is the shepherd and she can't have wolves wandering around the sheep, and the wolves she's talking about are the saviors. I'm just like, dude, you're a wolf too, so isn't that kind of hypocritical for you to say that? I swear, Gregory, man, I hope he gets his full storyline from the comic books. That's all I'm going to say about that. Michonne is hurt. She's injured after that beating she took in the mid-season, not the mid-season finale, the season finale of season 7. The thing is, Michonne is not one to sit out a fight, and she has felt some type of way for the past 1.5 days, their timeline, and she wants to see the sanctuary. And Rosita tries to talk her out of going because she's injured, but at the same time, Rosita's like, listen, I'm going to go with you, then I'm not going to let you go alone. Now, Tara wants to kill Dwight, and I'm worried about her, and I tweeted this online, and somebody was like, why are you worried about her? She's not trying to kill Negan. I don't know. I've been worried about Tara this season in general, because there's just something about her character this season that's giving me these vibes like she's gonna die soon. Because, to be honest, we're seeing more of her than we usually see, if you get what I'm saying. So I'm kind of worried about her. But anyway, she is talking to Daryl, and Daryl says, you know what, they both could work together and they don't have to wait so long to end this fight. All right, now the fight I'm talking about is the whole battle with the saviors. Now, Jareth, the long-haired dude, the long-haired savior, is going to do something stupid. Before the mid-season finale, I know it, I can feel it. I don't know what he's going to do, but this dude is shady. As for the other saviors, I don't think so, including Alden, who's giving me vibes like this other character from the comic book who really likes Maggie. I don't think Alden will do anything. I think the other saviors are just kind of going to chill, but I feel like Jareth is going to do something else besides what he did during this episode. Alden tries to talk to Jesus, and he's like, listen, I want to work with the hilltop. I was sent to that outpost to put up a fence, and I'm just like, can Jesus believe him? Because another savior gave a speech to, I believe it was Jesus, and remember what happened with that one a couple episodes ago. So Michonne and Rosita are pretty much on the road. Michonne says she wants to go out because she felt left out of the fight. It's been 1.5 days, like I said. since this fight started. She just wants to see the sanctuary. All of a sudden, they're driving, they hear this opera music, so they follow the sound to, I thought it was an outpost, but apparently it's a cache, a weapons cache. So I was right. The new dude is Siddiq from the comics. He's an amazing character, and I trust him already, but that's because, again, I read the comics, so I know how his storyline has played out and is playing out. Unfortunately, that's a spoiler, but, I mean, he's a great character, so sorry about that. He's played by an actor named Avi Nash, who I had to literally like Google this dude because his face looked familiar. Then I realized he played Dr. Jekyll on Penny Dreadful Showtime show. If you've never watched that show, please watch it. It's amazing. If you like supernatural stuff, you're gonna love it. He played in the last season. That's where I knew his face from. Anyway, Carl gives Siddiq water. He tells him about Alexandria. He asks him those 3 questions. You know, the questions that Rick and the gang ask people before they're allowed to join their group. So we learned that Siddiq killed 237 walkers. There might have been more, he claims. He only killed 1 person, and that's because the man was suffering after being attacked by some walkers who could have killed him but didn't. And he makes walker traps. And his goal is to free the walkers from their souls. It's something that he learned from his mother. So we see Henry in a scene again, and this kid has a major death wish because like he's battling these walkers. They are closing in on him, and all of a sudden here comes Carol, and she mows them down with bullets. And she's trying to warn this kid. And I feel so sorry for him because he's lost. He lost his father. He lost his brother. And now he's just looking for someone to attach to. He just wants to help because I guess he feels so helpless. And I mean, when I say help, I mean help with the battle. Because he has been sitting on the sidelines and he wants to help. So Carol just tells him to stay close to her. All of a sudden, the show went to a commercial, and the first commercial that popped up was the iPhone X commercial. You know, the one where like they show those animojis, and it's like one is a unicorn, a cat face, and like a little piece of poop or something singing. Anyway, I wonder like if someone is a Samsung user and they are watching this on their phone, do they see Samsung commercials? Because sometimes I feel like with these apps, some of these commercials are geared towards your phone. That's something I wanted to mention because I was like, are they literally showing me this iPhone commercial because I have an iPhone? Like, that's really, really weird. I know, guys, I know, but still, it was kind of strange. Anyway, we get back to the show, and Maggie decides to put the saviors in this big barbed wire pen, and she also decides to put Gregory in that thing, and Gregory thought that he was safe. I'm just like, dude, you're going in this thing too. You thought you were safe. Like, he tried that devil's advocate mess that he always does, and Maggie was not here for it. Maggie's not stupid. And when he made that scene as they were trying to put him into that pen, that was hilarious. And when he hit his head, I'm just like, oh my God, Gregory, like, oh man. So Jairus tried it and tried to take what's-her-face's gun. She's one of the knights from the kingdom. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And Maggie put her gun in his face and she kind of hit him with it twice. And I'm like, oh well, he runs his mouth too much. And Alden, the savior who seemed like he likes Maggie, again, he reminds me of that dude in the comics. I thought it was really sweet that Carl wanted to work with Siddiq and kill those walkers and do so to honor Siddiq's mom. Unfortunately, that good intention literally turned into a nail-biting scene because Carl almost got bit, and even though I knew that Carl was not going to get bit and die, still the writers tried it like they always do. When it comes to characters that I like, they keep on making them get close to death and then pulling them back from it. I'm like, you guys, you're raising my pressure here, even though my pressure is normal. You're raising my anxiety here, dude. Anyway, Carl and Sadiq make a great team. Sadiq is a little iffy about heading to Alexandria, especially after what happened with Carl's father. And now that I think of it, I feel like Sadiq probably feels some type of way, being that he is Muslim and he's probably used to being discriminated against because he's Muslim, but Rick is not that type of guy, as we learned in season 1. So Sadiq has nothing to worry about. So Leo and Zia, the two saviors, were having a conversation while Rosita and Michonne were lurking, trying to be as quiet as possible as they were moving through the weapons cache. Of course, we know that Michonne made the mistake of kicking a ball, but I mean, stuff happens. Anyway, Leo and Zia were talking about how they had to repair this thing called the Fat Lady. And what it was a truck with all these speakers, and it was supposed to lure the walkers away. Because remember, Fat Joey in last season had all those traps set up. And he was the only one that knew how to work those traps and put those traps together. And because of what happened with Negan's wife and how she was with her husband Mark, and Mark was supposed to be working on the road, and Mark didn't do what he was supposed to do. Needless to say, the walker herds are once again a really, really big problem. And that's where the Fat Lady comes in. The thing is, Michonne made the mistake of rolling a ball, and it caught the attention of Leo and Zia. Now, Michonne is injured. I'm just going to preface that. We already know that. So I don't know why so many people online are talking about, oh, she's so weak, she can't do nothing, she does this, she does that. It's just like, dude, it's not that serious. Anyway, Michonne's fight scene with Zia was intense. Michonne was in a heck of a lot of pain, but I think that she held her own. Maybe she didn't win the fight, but she held her own. When Rosita blew Leo up with that RPG, I was here for it completely. And I was also here for the scene where Zia escaped with the Fat Lady, only to be completely annihilated by Daryl in that huge garbage truck. Tara was in the truck with Daryl as well. Then we get to another Carol and Ezekiel scene where Carol is trying her best to get Ezekiel out of this funk and to take on that guise of being King Ezekiel again, because everyone needs him. And at one point, it looked like Carol was about to just walk out and leave. And then she turns around, she asks Ezekiel, why did you keep coming to visit me? Meaning when she was in that little house outside of the gates of the kingdom. And he said that he needed to make sure that she was okay because she made him feel real. Not fiction, but real. And I'm all here for Carol and Ezekiel getting together. As I said, I mean, it is what it is. I'm here for it. Carol tells him, listen, you're real to her and to everybody in the kingdom. He really needs to help the people of the kingdom grieve, to move on, and to end this mess, meaning this battle has got to be over. And eventually it is over if the storyline follows what happened in the comics. Now, how it's going to play out for the rest of the season, God only knows, because I am not a writer on the show. But if it follows the comic book, yeah, it should be ending pretty soon. So, and by soon, I mean the end of the season. Okay, Carol tells Ezekiel, listen, I need you, we need you to play your part. I do the same thing. And that's how I get up in the morning. I guess even though she doesn't want to, she wants to break down and cry, but she's got stuff to do. And basically, Ezekiel, it's time for you to get off your butt and do what you got to do. Now, Alden warns Jareth, because Jareth has this rock or something. And Alden's like, listen, Jareth, you're not going to get us killed because of your stupidity. And Jareth's just like, soon this place will be ours. I'm like, see? I said Jareth is planning something. He's about to do something stupid. Is his name Jareth or Jared? It's Jar something. Either way, he's the long-haired dude that gets on my nerves. So poor Aaron is in this next scene, and he's grieving, and he's hurt, and I just feel so bad for him. So bad. I miss Eric so much. Even though the actor who plays him is moving on to better things, still, that scene, I'm still not over that. So Maggie tells Jesus that we may be using these saviors as bargaining chips, but if we can't use them, we're going to kill them. It is what it is, and it's a smart move, because you think Negan and the saviors wouldn't do that to them if they were all locked up? Please. I don't even think this whole prisoner thing would even exist. I think that, to be honest, Negan and the saviors probably would have tried to convert some of those people into workers, and if they didn't want to work, or if they tried to escape, he would kill them. That's just me. That's what I think. Anyway, Aaron leaves Maggie's office, and he heads out to the car, and he tells Enid, because Enid chases after him, listen, I'm going to go out. I want to fight again. And Enid's like, listen, I want to come with you. And he's like, listen, grab your stuff. Let's go. And then we see Daryl, Tara, Rosita, and Michonne heading to the sanctuary. Michonne gets a glimpse of the sanctuary, and they all agree that it's time to end this. Now, do I see that plan ending well? As somebody who read the comics, no. That's all I'm going to say. No, I don't see it ending well at this point. And Jadis has on Rick's boots. I'm just like, I wish he'd get her stank feet out of his cowboy boots. And Rick is in a container that Jadis marked with the letter A. And Rick is in the dark, almost naked, kind of like Daryl was, except Daryl was naked at the sanctuary last season. Well, as far as this episode is concerned, I liked it. It was a slow one until we got to that part with the RPG. Rosita's so badass for doing that. I can't wait to see episode 7. I will be doing a review for that, and episode 8. And I've got Walker Stalker next weekend, but I will be getting you your review because I'm not going to be there all daggone day. I think I'll be there to a certain point, and then in the evening, I'll be doing a review. But thank you guys so much for watching my reviews and tuning in every time I post them. And let me know what you thought of this episode and this season so far. So until next time, I love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.